Ahora sí, señores y señores, que empiece la fiesta. Unas bonitas melodías para que vean cómo se bailaba en mi meritito Nochistlán. Ahora voy a pedir que me toquen unos bonitos jarabes para que vean cómo se bailaba En mi meritín Tenochtitlán, señores.
SJA's Early College High School. Please, another round of applause. This is just a reminder that this event is being live streamed on the Monitor's website and on the websites of its sisters newspapers, the Valley Morning Star in Harlingen and the Brownsville Herald. So this event is being broadcast throughout the Rio Grande Valley. Anybody who is watching this event at home, we encourage you to come join us at the Bogus Ford Arena in FAR. We are open until 3, and it is absolutely free. At this point, I would like to introduce you to a very special guest. Families and kids, are you ready for some fun? It's our pleasure to welcome someone special, Dr. Ted E. Bear and his buddy Carlos Rodriguez to Por Vida's Health and Food Festival. Dr. Teddy Bear is one of the newest physicians at Doctors Hospital at Renaissance, specializing in phonology. When Dr. Bear isn't busy at Doctors Hospital at Renaissance, meeting patients and making both them and visitors smile, he's spreading his message of health and happiness throughout the Rio Grande Valley. So far this year, Dr. Teddy Bear has visited more than 11,000 students in the Rio Grande Valley. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are thrilled to welcome Dr. Teddy Bear and company, including Carlos Rodriguez.
Hey, check.
Check, 2, 2, 2. Hello, everybody. How you doing today? Hey, I said, how you doing today, everybody? Where is everybody at? You know what? Hey, this show's not going to work out unless I have all the little boys and girls and a lot of the big boys and girls to come over here. So if you can make your way over here, please. We got a little presentation for you guys. I have Dr. Teddy Bear with me. He's going to be coming out in just a little bit, but I want everybody to see him. So come on out, boys and girls. Where are you at? Calling all people who want to play. There you are. Are your beautiful faces right now? Is everybody doing okay today? Oh, I didn't hear that. Is everybody doing okay today? That's a little better. I'll tell you what, this show's not going to work unless I have all of your all's attention and everybody's paying attention and everybody's going to participate. Because if not, then I'm going to fall flat on my face and I'm going to get really embarrassed and my boss is watching, and I don't want that to happen, right? Anyways, once again, my name is Carlos Rodriguez. I'm coming from Doctors Hospital at Renaissance. And like I said earlier, we have my best buddy, Dr. Teddy Bear here. But before I bring him out, I want to go over some of the ground rules, okay? Rule number 1, no feeding the bear, all right? I know there's a lot of goodies around here, and he's going to try to take it from you, but don't feed the bear. Trust me, you won't get rid of him. I fed him once, and he hasn't left me alone since, okay? Rule number 2, I need everybody here to pretend like they are 5, 6, 7, 8 years old again. I know you remember this. It was only just a couple years ago, right? Yeah. And whenever I say, right, boys and girls, you're either going to say yes or no. Okay, boys and girls? Yeah. Let's try that one more time. All right, boys and girls? Yeah. Okay, good deal. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm ready to go. All right. I want to get Dr. Teddy Bear out here, and there's only one way I know to do it, and a lot of it has to do with noise, okay? And I have enough of you all here to make enough noise to get Dr. Teddy Bear out, all right? And there's one noise that he loves to hear, and that's the noise of a big old bear growl, all right? And I need everybody here to give me their very best, their very biggest bear growl on the count of 3. You think you can do it? All right, well, let's try it one more time. 1, 2, 3. That was horrible. I'm sorry for those of you at home that are listening right now. I know you didn't hear anything like that. Hey, okay, let's try this one more time. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, that is not going to work. Okay, you know what? I have another idea, though. Don't worry about it. We'll get him out. I know you're waiting for Dr. Teddy Bear. You guys go way back, don't you? All right. You know what? The other way of doing it is I need 3 volunteers. There's the magic words. Oh, you know what? You guys look beautiful. How's about you come on down over here? You'll be my volunteers. I need everybody to stand behind a sign, yeah? How you doing? How you doing? All right. On the count of 3, I need you to pick up your sign. 1, 2, 3, go. All right. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Dr. Teddy Bear has a favorite saying, and it goes like this: healthy eats, healthy play, makes a healthy me. Now, whenever I say this enough times, he's kind of like Beetlejuice, a little bit. If you say it enough times, he'll show up. But I need all of you all's help, all right? At the top of your lungs, all right, boys and girls? What do you got? I'm sorry, what do you got? All right, now you know that's a good one. All right, you know what? This is gonna be your bonus question. This is for the prize, boys and girls. All right, you ready? Yeah. Earlier in the show, we mentioned that Dr. Teddy Bear, of course, is a doctor, but he is a doctor of what? I'll give you a hint. It starts with fun, and it ends with ology.
Phonology.
Oh, boys and girls, let's give him a round of applause. Dr. Teddy Bear, how's about you show him what he's won? You, my friend, are the winner of your very own Dr. Teddy Bear action figure. Thank you so much for participating. High five him. All right, give him a big old hug. He'd rather not. Let's take a picture right quick. Smile for the camera. All right, very good. Now get out of here, kid. You bother me. Boys and girls, did you have a good time today? Did you have a good time today? I did too. Thank you so much for having us over here. And Dr. Teddy Bear and I had such a great time. We hope to come see you at your school. Give us a high five, buddy. All right. We'll hope to see you again soon. We'll see you next time. Everybody say bye, Dr. Teddy Bear. We'll see you, boys and girls. Bye. All right. Thank you so much.
Put a chain around my neck and lead me anywhere. Let me be. Oh, let him be. Oh, Teddy Bear. I don't want to be a tiger.
One more time, everyone. Let's give a round of applause for Dr. Ted E. Bear and his buddy Carlos Rodriguez. Just a couple of announcements I want to make. All the kids who had just enjoyed this performance, we encourage you to go to the opposite end of the arena and learn about how you can run in the McAllen Kids Marathon. Something sponsored by the Monitor each year, and we encourage you to participate. It's absolutely free. And today you have a chance to win a water bottle or a t-shirt. So go to the opposite edge. For you adults, I want to present a cooking demonstration. We've got a live demonstration now up here to my right, to your left of the stage. I want to introduce someone special here. The Monitor and Doctors Hospital at Renaissance Health System proudly present a live cooking demonstration by renowned Texas chef Dan Phelan. Chef Phelan has over 21 years of culinary experience. He studied at the San Jacinto Culinary School, where he received an AAS in the culinary arts. During that time, he also completed a 3-year chef apprenticeship at the Doubletree Hotel, where he received his culinary certification through the TCA, Texas Chefs Association, and the ACF, American Culinary Federation. His experiences included banquet chef, off-premise high-end catering, executive pastry chef, culinary director, and catering consultant. He worked for 12 years with the Sodexo, finishing his last 3 years as a regional culinary director for 12 states. Chef Phelan has been with Luby's for 10 years as the corporate executive chef for Luby's Fuddruckers LLC, and oversees all culinary for Luby's Cafeteria, Fuddruckers, Luby's Culinary Services, and Cheeseburgers in Paradise Restaurants. He has competed in numerous culinary competitions and has been awarded 9 medals, including bronze, silver, and gold, and the Best Dessert Award in the Washington Apple Growers Competition. A native of Houston, please give a round and welcome, Rio Grande Valley, welcome to celebrity chef Dan Phelan.
Thank you. Can everyone hear me? Can they hear me? Oh, very good. Thank you. Boy, I'm tired him just listing off all the, I didn't realize I had done that much. It's been a long career. Well, thank you for coming, and I have just a brief demo to do for you today. We're going to talk about some items of nutrition and some ways to incorporate some flavor and not, and not add any fat, but give up the fat and add a lot of flavor. So what we're going to talk about today is I have a brief demo to show you. I've got a little bit of a twist on chicken and waffles, which is a great dish, but adds a little bit of sugar, adds a lot of fat. So I'm going to clean it up a little bit with some sweet potato pancakes and a pulled chicken that I'll show you how to do that. I'm going to talk a little bit about our Luby's Living Smart program and our Stealth Health program and share some of the things that we've done in that area and give you some tips that you can do at home. We also have some recipe cards here that you can take with you. And then I've got some samples of our chocolate avocado muffins. So before you think avocados and chocolate don't really go together, I dare you to taste one of these and tell me you don't like them. So, but no comment cards, please. All right, so what I'm going to do first is let's talk about these sweet potato pancakes. So one thing that we've done with our Stealth Health and our Living Smart program, again, when you're trying to lower the calories, increase the nutrition, lower the fat, what ends up happening is the train of thought seems to be, if I want to eat healthy, then I just need to have steamed broccoli and poached chicken, and that's fine. There's very little fat, there's good nutrition, but it just doesn't taste anything exciting. So what we've done here is I have some standard pancake mix, and we're going to fold in some pureed sweet potatoes to give it a little extra flavor. And then with the sweet potatoes, you also pick up fiber, beta carotene, which sweet potatoes are the highest source of beta carotene in any tuber vegetable that you can get. You get vitamin A, you get potassium. There's a lot of nutritional benefit in even just adding a little bit. So what I have here is I have our standard pancake mix. I'm going to fold in some sweet potatoes. If you can't get the canned sweet potatoes, you can make your own. Just bake them in the oven, chill them down, take the skins off, mash them up. You can also substitute pumpkin. Pumpkin puree is fine. I would be careful not to get the pumpkin puree that has sugar in it. If you're looking for the nutritional benefits, stay away from that, but just get the pure pumpkin puree. So something as simple as folding in a little bit of this to the pancake. Is that on? Are we better? All right. Through the miracles of science. So what we have here is I have a batch already made. and that's already cold. So we're gonna, you know what, let's try this one though, because I had this one in the fridge for a while. So the pancakes are nice and cold, and we're just gonna use a little pan spray. The other, like I said, you know, watch your, well, let's see, let's use this one. Watch your temperature on your stove, not too hot. We're gonna do some little silver dollar pancakes here. Okay, you're awfully close, so sneeze and turn your head if you have to sneeze, right? All right, thank you. All right, we're gonna get a couple of those going. So while those are working, let me talk about what I have here instead of the pulled pork. So everybody's had pulled pork, right? Very flavorful, very tasty. Got a little bit of fat, but with the fat, that's where all the flavor comes from. So, I mean, I understand the need to add bacon to your green beans and things like that, but if we're trying to, you know, clean up the nutrition a little bit, you know, you want to find some other alternatives. So what I've done with the chicken is I've done a similar application. It's a wet process called braising. We've put a little bit of liquid in the bottom of the pan, so you can go with a lot of different flavor profiles, but what I've done is a little bit of water, a little bit of barbecue sauce, I've sauteed some onions, and then I put my chicken breast in here, and I've simmered it for about 45 minutes. So if you've ever done pulled pork at home, how long does it take? 2, 3, 4 hours for it to really fall apart? Chicken, you don't have to cook that long. And if you do, it gets, you know, dried out, even though it's in a liquid process like that. So this is very tender, it's very flavorful. It doesn't take as long to get the flavor that you want, and I'm gonna show you how we're gonna pull that chicken and use that application. So our pancakes are looking pretty good. Hi, Mom. All right. So let's see if we can flip these over. There we go. Perfect. All right, so I'm going to try without passing this around, if everybody can see. I just put some liquid and some onions, a little bit of that in there, and chop those up. And so what I'll do is I'll show you what I did with the chicken. So I put the chicken breast in there whole. And within about 45 minutes, again, all I did was take them out and shred them up. Get a nice fork. We're done with you. And as they get tender, they'll just start to fall apart. Now, when we talk about HACCP and food safety, does everybody know about proper cooking temperatures? So if I cook chicken, how high do I have to cook it? Anybody know? 165 is 165 is right on the money. 175 is be about the top. So a lot of our cooks, you know, we try to educate them about, you know, proper healthy cooking and cooking the proper temperature. The problem is if we instruct them, okay, the chicken has to be cooked to 165, a lot of times they think, well, I'll just cook it up to 200 and make sure it's extra safe. Well, yeah, it's extra safe, but it's also extra leathery. It tastes like a shoe. So anytime you have a product, you know, pork is 145, 155, beef is 135 if you want a medium rare, depending on what it is. Chicken, we try to give them a window. So you need to cook it to a minimum of 165, but I'd say go no higher than 175. And if you can hit that window, your chicken won't dry out. It'll be still nice and juicy and nice and tender. So we're going to flake this chicken. And I'm going to peek over at my pancakes so I don't burn anything. All right. Okay. So I have my pulled chicken and my barbecue sauce, and I just put my chicken back in. And now that it's shredded, it's really going to pick up a lot of that flavor. So after this, I wouldn't really let it simmer too much longer. Again, it can dry out. I mean, if you've had the Thanksgiving turkey that's been in the oven just a little bit too long, the thigh is nice and juicy, but the breast is very dry. And so you get kind of a bad experience with turkey thinking it's a product that dries out, but if you cook it to 165, 170, you get a nice moist turkey. So we've got our barbecued chicken, and we're going to take and put just a little bit on each one. Like so. Oh, I didn't have a pancake there. There we go. Okay. Then, depending on your liking, now again, you can do more of a Southwest flavor. You can do. I did barbecue. This is actually a bourbon glaze and barbecue sauce, so it's got a little bit of a sweet flavor to it, a very slight heat. And then, depending on your preference, we're going to put a little bit of cilantro. Done with this. Just a pinch of cilantro. Okay, and I've got some radishes for a little spice. I think I'm supposed to put 7 on each one, 8. Okay, so if I have any, you want to pass any out? And there's some forks right there. So very simple process. It's very easy to do. You can do it with beef as well. Beef obviously is going to take a little bit longer. This is my very helpful assistant, Jose Conde. Thank you, Jose. So very simple process. A little bit, like I said, a little bit of a twist on the chicken and waffles. Hopefully you like the flavor of the sweet potato pancake. Try it at home. You can also do other applications, like if you did pureed bananas, you'll pick up the potassium, you'll pick up the extra fiber. The trick is, look at your pancake mix and kind of add a little bit of water if you need to thin it out, because the puree is going to absorb some of that, so you might have a thicker pancake than you really want. And I've been using some of our special Luby's bottled water that is imported from Houston. So, little product placement plug there. So, okay, so let me move on to our next topic. Let me tell you a little bit about our Stealth Health and our Living Smart program that Luby's has incorporated. So a little brief history of this. When we took on the Children's Hospital, we were presented with a problem with the children that were there in the hospital, and they were recuperating from certain procedures, or they were in for an operation, they were in for whatever reason you go to a hospital. And the problem was, the poor little guys, they didn't want to eat. They didn't have their appetite. And so the trick was, how do we get them to get the nutrition that they need to help their bodies recover when they don't want to eat broccoli? They don't want to have a steamed piece of fish. They don't want something like that. So the question was, do we take broccoli and try to make it appetizing to a child, or can we deal with products that we know a kid would eat and try to incorporate the vegetables in there? So that's what we did. We took on a lot of recipes that we knew kids will eat spaghetti. So we have a spaghetti sauce that in a gallon of sauce, there's about 3 to 4 cups of pureed spinach. There's pureed carrots. There's ground squash. So we get a lot of fiber, we get a lot of iron, we get the vitamin A, we get a lot of vitamins in that product, and the kids are eating it up. We have Stealth Health tacos that are about the same way. So, they're getting the seasonings that they're accustomed to, some chili powder and some good taco seasoning, but they don't realize that there's ground onions and there's ground yellow squash and there's spinach in that one as well. Kids will eat mashed potatoes. I think it's like 2 to 1 where we've done pureed cauliflower and folded it in the mashed potatoes. And so you get the benefit of a nice cruciferous vegetable mixed in with mashed potatoes, and the kids will eat it. So it was a nice touch on kind of sneaking the vegetables. You know, we kind of like to say, you know, you're going to eat your vegetables whether you like it or not, or whether you know it or not. You know, it's in there, and so it really helped that program. We tried with some things like, you know, they like chicken fingers. We did some oven-baked chicken fingers where, you know, they weren't in the fryer, and that helped out a lot. But the biggest wins were the things like that in the stealth health. What we also did was some of the sweeter applications. So it's not like, you know, the best way to recover is to load kids up on some chocolate muffins, but hey, you know, if you're gonna eat something sweet, let's see what we can do to make that one even better. So we started with a couple of different muffins. We had a strawberry pound cake muffin, and what we were using, you know, the traditional cake batter. And the cake mixes, and any time that it incorporated water, we substituted apple juice. If they needed more fiber, we substituted prune juice. So any of the liquids that went into the recipe, we found something that would add antioxidants, vitamin C, vitamin A, anything that went into there that could help them out. We also had some brownies that we did, a couple of different variations of there where we did a pureed blueberry and mixed that into the chocolate brownie. We have, and these are one of the cards that we have here. We have a black bean brownie where we pureed black beans and folded that into a standard chocolate brownie mix. It added more fiber, it added more protein, and the neat thing about that is in the batter, it actually gave it more structure. So you had this really nice texture to this brownie. I'll tell you a funny story. We set up with Texas Children's in the first year. They had this outdoor event similar to this, and a lot of different booths. And so our booth, we were giving samples away of the high protein brownies and the avocado muffin. Were you there? And so we're giving away samples of these brownies that are high in fiber. They have pureed black beans, they have prune juice in there, but we're giving little samples. Well, the kids were coming up to the booth and thinking they were being sneaky, and they'd come over here and they'd get a sample, and then they'd kind of walk around, then they'd come over to somebody else and get another sample, and then they'd come back. And I kind of started noticing this, and I'm thinking, this poor child is going to pay for this later. He just doesn't realize it yet. So, you know, I didn't want to be a downer and say, hey, no more for you, but, you know, at some point, there's going to be a tipping, so not to get too graphic. Anyway, so the item that we're going to let you sample today, too, is our chocolate avocado muffin. So in a standard chocolate cake mix, again, we replace the water with apple juice. You can also replace it with prune juice if you need some more fiber. And in the batter that makes about 2.5 to 3 dozen, there's 3 cups of pureed avocado. Again, I defy you to taste the avocado in the chocolate muffin, but it blends in nicely. You get that good fat. It adds a little texture to it. It's a very flaky, you know, moist cupcake, and you get those benefits of that added ingredient. So but like I said, with the Stealth Health, you can't taste the avocado. You can't taste the black beans. You can't taste any of those items in there. So the children were very happy to have that. And then we've done it in some of our retail applications as well, where, you know, what adult doesn't want to eat a little healthier and enjoy a muffin? So we call that kind of a better bad choice. You know, if you're going to eat a chocolate muffin, you're going to love this one, and you're going to be a little bit happier with, you know, with the outcome. So that's kind of our demo. Is there any questions that I could answer while I've got a minute or two? Just so her question was, if I heard you correctly, when you add the apple juice to the product, just traditional apple juice. Now, here's the thing with some of the apple juices have got a lot of sugar in them, so you want to get as 100% apple juice as you can. If you want to use the fresh press, if you want to use a cider, that's fine. But yeah, so far everything that we tried, any juice works just fine. Anything else? Okay. Well, thank you much for attending. I appreciate your patience with the program and with our technical difficulties, but thank you very much. I hope you learned something. Oh, please come up and have a muffin, and there's gift card, or I keep saying gift card, recipe cards here. There you go. Got some napkins there if you need them. Oh, you need that back? What you need? Oh. Yep.
Ready? Are you? Once again for giving us this live demonstration. As you all are grabbing some samples, please be aware that if you grab your seats again, we've got one more live cooking demonstration coming up in a matter of seconds. This is from Chef Ruben Lemos. It is going to be, it's a different presentation with a different chef. And we'll be starting the next presentation in a few minutes. Test. Thank you once again to Chef Phelan, and please bear with us for just a few seconds as we change out the kitchen a bit. While we're doing that, I just wanted to introduce you to Chef Ruben Lemos Jr. Born and raised in Chicago, Chef Ruben Lemos Jr. has enjoyed cooking since he was young, assisting in his mother's kitchen while she cooked mole, tamales, menudo, and other traditional Mexican staples. Opting to forego culinary school at first, he broke into the business early when he bought a restaurant in Fremont, Texas. When his stunt in Fremont was finished, Lemos moved to McAllen and began his culinary education at South Texas College, and shortly thereafter received his Associate of Applied Science in Culinary Arts. Upon receiving his degree in May of 2013, he worked for some local eating establishments before finding his true calling in education. He returned to STC as an instructor in January of 2014 and eventually became department chair of STC's Culinary Arts Department. Chef Lemos teaches the Advanced Food Prep class, one of the final classes students take before graduation. Lemos also teaches a capstone class which assists students with finding internships in the region so they receive hands-on experience before graduating. Ladies and gentlemen, we proudly introduce our second celebrity chef today, Chef Ruben Lemos Jr. Please give us a round of applause.
Woo! All right. So like I said, my name is Chef Ruben Lemos. I'm here from South Texas College. I don't know if you had a chance to try some of our food that we have today, but I'm gonna show you how to we're gonna demo a Thai quinoa salad. And I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about the ingredients that we used, specifically the quinoa for the Thai quinoa salad and the chia that we used for the vinaigrette. Okay. Are we familiar with quinoa? Okay. Quinoa, it's pretty much available everywhere now. It's a grain, looks very much like a seed. It's extremely healthy. It's good and it's good for you. A lot of people don't use it that often because they're not familiar with how to use it. Okay. The great thing about it is that it's used just as you would white rice. Okay. So just like you would with white rice, the ratio is pretty much the same, 2 to 1. Okay. Doesn't really matter what you use to measure it. My mom just uses a regular bowl, but you fill it up once with the quinoa, and then you'll fill it up twice with your liquid. It could be water, it could be chicken stock, it could be vegetable stock, whatever you choose. Just like with the rice, it takes about 15 minutes to cook. Okay. We're gonna let that come up to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, we're gonna let it simmer. Okay. It's gonna absorb the liquid that's in there. It's gonna start heating up. It's gonna start fluffing up. Okay. The quinoa, if anybody's ever seen it after it's cooked, if anybody's tasted what we had right there, it looks kind of like it has a little bit of a tail. Okay. That's also when it tells you that it's cooked. Just like the turkey has a little thermometer, when it pops, it's ready to go. The quinoa is the same thing. When that little tail comes out, it's ready to go. If you've ever tasted quinoa, it has a really nice nutty flavor. So it's very good. It accents the salad very, very well. While we have the quinoa going, we're going to get the veggies for the vinaigrette and for the salad. Another thing that I like about this knife. Another thing I like about this salad is that it's very easy to do. It's very quick to do. And there's not that much cleanup afterward. Everything is chopped up, everything goes into a bowl. Have one bowl for the different ingredients and one bowl for the vinaigrette. Okay. What we're using here is English cucumber. Again, they have them everywhere, any supermarket. Okay. The difference between a English cucumber and a regular just cucumber is usually it has a much thinner skin, so it's a lot more edible. The thicker cucumbers usually have a little bit of bitterness to the skin, so this makes it a lot easier to handle. Okay. So the fact that this one has a much thinner skin, it makes it a lot easier to work with. It gives you some color with that green skin because you don't have to worry about peeling it. And it also has a lot less seeds. So you have a lot more actual cucumber in there. For this right here, we're just gonna cut it up, making sure that it looks pretty. I usually like to section it off to work with smaller pieces. Get rid of some of the excess seeds that are in there. Just to make sure that the salad, when everything's said and done, that it doesn't get bogged down by extra liquid. It doesn't get mushy. And then you can cut it up in half, and then cut it up across. Sure, we're checking on the quinoa. All the ingredients that we're going to have in here are going to be very fresh. There's a whole lot of vitamins, minerals. It's a very, very healthy meal that we prepared today. Like I said, from the quinoa, which has a whole lot of fiber, has a whole lot of protein. It's one of the few grains that has all the 9 essential amino acids. Usually you find that just in animal proteins or by combining multiple grains. Everything comes together. It has a whole lot of minerals. So it's actually a very, very, very healthy grain. It's originally from South America. It's one of the main grains that was used by the Incas. Okay. Cucumbers, very healthy. All the different vegetables have a lot of flavor. They're not bland at all. A lot of times when people talk about healthy cooking, one of the biggest issues that people have is it doesn't have a lot of flavor. It doesn't taste good, takes too long to make, too expensive. So these different recipes that we have for you today break all those kind of preconceived ideas. It's very easy to make. It is very healthy. It is inexpensive, and you can make it very, very quickly. So we have that there. Everything just comes together right into the bowl. Bell pepper gives you a whole lot of flavor, gives you a whole lot of color. Okay. Easy way to cut it. Sometimes people have a different issue. You cut the top, you cut the bottom, and then you can just core out the center. It makes it very nice and easy. If your hands aren't in the way, it makes it a whole lot easier. You don't have to get cut, worry about cutting yourself. And then once you have the bell pepper, it's just cutting it right into little small juliennes. Okay. Did somebody taste the quinoa salad already? Everybody tasted it? What did you think about it? It was great. Okay. And like I said, it's starting to get a lot more popular. People are a lot more familiar with it. But like I said, there's still a lot of people that are curious about how it cooks, how it tastes, and it's very easy to cook it. And it has a very, very good taste. It actually takes flavor very, very well, which is one of the main reasons that we used it in this salad today. The quinoa salad is going to have some green onion, some basil, some lime. So it has a whole lot of flavor. And the quinoa is just a great grain to send that flavor through. A few green onions. Okay. These green onions, you're pretty much going to use all of them. Take about 2 or 3. Again, the thinner they are, the nicer they look, the nicer they present. If you cut them at a little bit of a bias, it also helps with the presentation. And I think everybody knows by now, you eat with your eyes. It's not enough for food to taste good. It needs to smell good. It needs to look good. It needs to have great textures. You need to excite all the senses. We got that right there. Okay. And like I said, this morning and all day yesterday, we had our students putting all the samples together so everybody can taste. Over there at South Texas College, over here in McAllen. They're at the school. We have 3 different degrees. We have our commercial cooking degree, along with our commercial baking degree. Both of those are one-year degrees. If somebody's just curious about culinary, or if somebody just enjoys cooking, baking, and they want a little more information, that's what those degrees are for. If somebody decides this is what I want to do with the rest of my life, I want to go for the full education, that's what we have the associates is set up for. And like I said, they're both set up so they could either finish with the certificate in 1 year or the associates in 2 years. Okay. On top of that, the degrees are also stackable. So if you decide to take the certificate, enjoy it, love it, decide to keep on, you don't lose any time. All those classes that you take, they're going to count for the associates. So it's a great opportunity. We have a lot of students that always are curious about culinary. We have a lot of students that kind of think, oh, I wanted to do that, but it's too late. It's never too late. Okay. I worked a little bit backwards. My degree, I got after quite a few years working in the industry. It was a plan since day one, and I'm gonna have some time in the morning, get that degree, follow up with it, and that time didn't really come until 6 or so years later. I'm actually a South Texas College graduate from their culinary program. So it's something that I definitely appreciate. I appreciated the time, the experience that I had there, the instructors that I had there, and it was a great opportunity for me to come back and pay it forward. All right. This right here is a little bit of basil. Who likes basil? Everybody? Oh, I love basil. I'm gonna put a little extra basil. Okay. A little trick about cutting the basil is to roll it up. Okay. Once it's rolled up, it's very easy to cut, and kind of like a little cigar. The thinner you cut it, again, the prettier it looks. The prettier it looks, the better it tastes. All right. Get that basil in there. A little bit of cilantro. Everybody likes cilantro, right? All right. And then we'll put a good amount of that too. And like I said, we have this recipe that we're handing out here at the STC booth. So if you wanted to stop by, taste it, if you haven't tasted it yet, feel free to stop by. I ain't there yet. Quinoa is about ready. I have a chilled metal bowl. It's just gonna make it a little bit easier to get everything cooled off. Just like that, your quinoa gets cooked. It has a little bit of moisture. It's still warm. So we're gonna get this into our bowl. And kind of spread it out a little bit. The chilled bowl will just kind of speed up the cooling process. Get that going. Okay. So we have everything, all the ingredients to our salad right here in the bowl. Now we're gonna make our dressing. Dressing consists of a little bit of fish sauce. Fish sauce is actually a little bit of the liquid from fermented fish. Sounds delicious, right? Doesn't sound that tasty, but it is very, very good. It's kind of used just like a vinegar, sparingly. A little bit of salt. A little bit of oil. And then we're going to add some citrus to it. Okay. We're going to use some lime. Excuse me? We just use just regular canola oil. It doesn't have too much flavor, so it doesn't really combat the other ingredients that are in there. We want them to shine, but you could use pretty much whatever oil you want. Like I said, we decided to just do something that's a little more neutral. It doesn't have a strong flavor. You could use something like sesame, which is a significantly stronger flavor, but that flavor profile would also go with the other ingredients that we have in here. Or you can just use a little bit of sesame oil and then a little bit of canola oil, just so it's not that overpowering. A little bit of sugar. That little bit of sugar is actually going to accent a lot of the different flavors that we have in here. Because whether you believe it or not, a lot of the stuff that we put in there are fruits. The peppers are the fruits, the cucumbers are the fruits. They do have a little bit of natural sweetness, and that sugar kind of just accents it a little bit more. A little bit of pepper flakes. If you enjoy spicy, you can add a little bit more. We have that right there. Toss this up. And then the quinoa goes right in there. So this is a very simple dish to make. It's very easy. It's very healthy. Do we have some to hand out? Do we have some to hand out? Okay. I'm going to have some of the students coming around handing out some samples. If you haven't tasted it already, like I said, it's really, really good. It's really, really healthy, and it's really easy to make. None of the ingredients are difficult to find. They're very easy to find. You can find them at any grocery store that we have now. The other recipe that we have is actually our spinach, feta, and strawberry salad. And on there we have a basic balsamic dressing. There's nothing special about the balsamic dressing, the ingredients that are in there, except chia seeds. Is anybody familiar with chia seeds? Okay. Chia seeds, again, are another superfood. They're very, very good. They're very good for you. They're very high in omega-3 fatty acids. There's a few booths here that are selling fish oil, high in fatty acids. That's something that's very beneficial to us now. The great thing about the chia seeds is when they get hydrated, they actually gelatinize. Okay? They get a little bit thicker. So we actually use that to our advantage. Normally in the vinaigrette, when you're making a dressing, you're going to use 1 part vinegar, 3 parts oil. Okay? We were able to get away with using 1 part vinegar, 1 part oil. Okay? So you actually significantly cut down that oil content, but you don't lose any of the flavor. Normally, if you have a lot less oil, that vinaigrette is going to be a lot thinner. It's not going to have the same body as a natural vinaigrette. That's where, like I said, the chia seeds come in. You throw that in there, you let them hydrate for about an hour, and they're actually going to naturally thicken up that vinaigrette. So it's going to have the same texture that you're used to. So when you put that on the dress, on the greens, it's actually going to cling onto it, and it's not just going to kind of roll off of it. So it's just something very small change. Whatever vinaigrette recipe that you have. That one that we actually made in a little bit of a mason jar. something like this. Put a little bit of balsamic vinaigrette, put a little bit of, I think there was a small amount of sugar in there, garlic, shallots, kind of different things like that. A little bit of nice, good quality extra virgin olive oil. Since we're not going to use much, we want something that's going to taste really, really good because that's going to be front and center. And then I think for about a cup of liquid, we put about a tablespoon of those chia seeds. And like I said, that helps thicken everything up so you can have a texture very natural to what everything else is. As far as the salad itself, it was just regular spinach, strawberries. You can just dice them up however you want. The feta cheese that we used, it's actually a goat's milk cheese. So it's salty, it's tangy, but a little bit goes a long way, kind of like the queso fresco. So that's also kind of something that helps you get away with. You still get the flavor since it's very, very strong in flavor. It's not a mild cheese at all. So you can get away with having a little and letting that go a long way. Okay. Did we have any questions? Absolutely, absolutely. For the oil, you can use whatever you want. When you're making a vinaigrette, a lot of the flavor that you're getting is usually going to be either from the vinegar or from the oil itself. So it depends. If you're going to make a balsamic, you want to make sure that kind of the balsamic is what's front and center. So a lot of times you want to use a little bit more of a neutral oil or being able to kind of use part and part. Some extra virgin olive oil and then something like maybe like a grapeseed oil or a canola oil that doesn't have a strong flavor. Okay. And then, like I said, as far as everything else, you could also make adjustments. This salad also tastes really, really good if instead of using basil, you use mint. Okay. It also kind of brightens it up, kind of freshens it up. In our hot summer days, that's something that would be great. It makes it very, very refreshing. Yeah, let me get some. Yes. We have some samples over here at the table. Okay. Any other questions? Excuse me? Yes, we do. I'm going to have some of these students come over here with the recipes, and they can hand them out. But we have them there at our booth. Like I said, they're very, very simple to make. There's not a lot of ingredients, and it's very quick. From start to finish, you can get done in half an hour. Okay. And it'll be something that's very, very healthy. It'll be very, very rewarding. Yes? This right here would actually last about 4 to 5 days in the refrigerator. And believe it or not, the next day it actually tastes a little bit better. If you let it sit for a little bit, a lot of those flavors are actually going to meld a lot more. And it's going to pretty much going to have one flavor. And if you've tasted it already, there's a lot of flavors going on in there. You get the sweetness because we do add a little bit of sugar in there. You have a little bit of spicy. Like I said, all the ingredients that are in there are definitely not mild flavors with the bell pepper and the cucumber and the cilantro. Everything has a whole lot of flavor, but the vinaigrette kind of puts it all together. And the fish sauce doesn't have to get used. You can kind of just eliminate that. You're still going to have a very good salad if you have vegan or anything like that. But I think the fish sauce adds a little extra depth to the flavor. There's going to be something there that it kind of tastes savory, but I'm not sure why it tastes savory. And that's something that, like I said, that the fish sauce definitely helps with. And like I said, you get a little bit of sweet, you get a little savory, you get a little bit of salty, you get a little bit of spicy. And the more of that, the more of the palate that you excite, the more the overall excitement of the dish usually turns out. Okay. Any other questions? All right. Well, again, thank you very much for listening to my demo. Thank you very much for paying attention. Like I said, if you haven't tasted it, we do have more samples. We should have quite a few more samples over here at our booth. We have a few other chefs and quite a few other students that are handing them out. We do have recipes that we're actually handing out over here in the back for the Thai quinoa salad, which I demoed here, and the balsamic vinaigrette salad, which we do still have samples of over there. Okay. Thank you very much.
Hello, hello, hello. If you all can give us just a few minutes to clear up here, we're going to have one more opportunity to learn a little bit about healthy lifestyles from a noted physician at DHR. So give us just a few more minutes, and she'll be here shortly to chat with you a bit. For those of you watching us online, we've got a couple of hours left. We encourage you to drop by the Bogus Ford Event Center in FAR. The event is absolutely free. There's still plenty of food samples available. We ask you just swing on by and join us. We've been having a good day so far with a lot of good food. So just give us a few more minutes, and thank you for your time.
Hello, hello. Okay.
Test.
Test, test, test.
Right here. Oh, Once again, we want to thank Chef Ruben Lemos for his presentation. And now I'd like to introduce another special guest. She's a keynote speaker today from Doctors Hospital at Renaissance, Dr. Melanie Castillo, an endocrinologist at the Joslyn's Diabetes Center, which is an affiliate of DHR and a very prestigious affiliate at that. Dr. Castillo specializes in endocrinology, diabetes, and metabolism. She's fluent both in English and Spanish. She received her medical degree from the University of Bucaramanga. She completed her residency training in internal medicine at the University of Miami Department of Medicine and Jackson Memorial Hospital, where she also conducted a fellowship in training in metabolism and endocrinology. Please help me welcome Dr. Melanie Castillo.
Thank you everyone. Thank you so much for having me here. And I would like to take this opportunity just to share some of the facts and how much diet interferes with good health, and especially bad diet, and also how much of the diet influences in the developing of bad diseases such as diabetes and cardiovascular disease. So just to give you a little bit of the fact is that we know that populations that have diet that are high in fat, high in cholesterol, high in sugars, they develop more cardiovascular disease, they have more diabetes, they have more hypertension. And we also know that it's true that if we have the opposite, in a population that has a healthy diet, the development of this type of disease is less. So why is it that we make so much emphasis about having a good and healthy lifestyle? So there was a very big study. It was published in 2002, and it was the U.S. Diabetes Prevention Project. So the idea was to have around 3,230 subjects, and all of this, they have a body mass index about 34, which is actually around like 70 to 80% of the population. So especially here in Texas. So what they wanted to see was what happened if you put someone in just continue their regular diet. They have another type of patients that they try to do healthy lifestyles, and that would include like doing exercise 150 minutes during the week, having a low-fat, low-carb diet, and then they have another group of patients that they continue their same lifestyle, but they just added metformin. So the goal was that they should at least lose more than 77% of their total weight. And what they noticed is that they wanted to see how many of those they would develop diabetes. So what they saw is that in the placebo group, 11% of the patients developed diabetes. Then in the group that was just taking metformin, 77% developed diabetes. But the patients that were having a healthy lifestyle, only 4.8% developed diabetes. So this is a very good sample of what healthy lifestyle can make for your health. So, and we know that diabetes is like the new epidemic that we're gonna face in the future. Right now we have it, but in the future it's gonna be even worse. So it's estimated that in 2050, 1 of every 3 Americans will have diabetes. And this is a very, very costly disease. So we know that 1 of every 3 visits to the doctor is because of diabetes. We spend one of every $5 that we spend in health in the United States is because of diabetes. And another important fact is that right now, 1 of every 10 Americans have diabetes. And of all pregnant women, 1 of every 10 have gestational diabetes. So this is pretty scary because diabetes comes with a lot of complications, such as macrovascular complications. So that's when you see the patients that have heart attacks, strokes, they have peripheral vascular disease, and they can have microvascular complications. That's when you see the patients that have diabetes that can lose their eyes, they can be turned blind, they can have problems with the kidneys. So we know that medicine might be winning the battle of glucose control, but it's losing the wars against diabetes. And that's because diabetes is a disease that is driven so much by your lifestyle. So why is it that we're always focused so much on carbohydrates? And the thing is that carbohydrates in food are the ones that get converted into sugar. So you might be hearing some of your friends, or even if you have diabetes, your doctor is always emphasizing, make sure that you don't eat that many carbs. Not calories. Calories are the one that make you gain weight, but carbohydrates is the one that is going to make your sugar rise. So we know that the carbohydrates are starch. You can find it in a fruit, like a banana. You can see that already there's 50 grams of carb there. If you eat just a cup of melon, there's already sugar there. 50 grams of carbs is a normal and a good serving of carbs. So, but what happened when we start eating things that are sugar added, such as Lipton? So if you eat 1 bottle of Lipton, it will be the same thing if you're eating 12 Hershey Kisses. 12. And this is just to be started. So if you eat one of that, the big cane of Arizona, you will be eating 20 Hershey's Kisses. 20. Okay, how about the apple juice? We're always promoting, okay, let's give apple juice to the kids. It's pretty bad. So if you eat one of the big bottles of apple juice, it will be the same as you're eating 10 cookies of Oreo. And if you're eating, I don't know if you're familiar with that Little Debbie Swing Rolls. Okay, so if you eat one of the big bottles of Coca-Cola, it's the same thing as if you're eating 5 Little Debbie Swing Rolls. That is alarming. That is incredible. So what do we have? I don't know if you were, some of you, if you were familiar with Facebook, and recently there's one big news that caught everybody's attention that says that sugar and artificial sweetened beverage increases the risk for strokes and dementia. So that was recently published. It was like this last month. And what they show is that, and it was a big population that they used to evaluate that. So they used around 2,800 participants. Most of them, they were more than 45 years of age. And they wanted to see how much was the incidence of a stroke. And then for the incidence of having dementia, they took 1,484 participants, and these ones were aged more than 60. So after taking away, like, how about like hypertension, having heart problems, after taking all of those things out, they found that if you drink once a day a artificial sweetened drink, you have 3 times more risk of having an ischemic stroke. Once a day. And if you drink once a day, one of this beverage, you have 3 times more risk of having dementia. So pretty alarming. So the other thing that it was published in 2015, how about the drinks that have sugar? Those that I just talked about, it is artificial sweetening. So those diet drinks or zero drinks, those are the ones that are the word study for risk of stroke and dementia. So now, how about the ones that they just add sugar? So this one was a very big population. They studied around 51 countries, and they wanted to see how sugar drinks will relate to the increase of death. So they think that around 133,000 deaths from diabetes was related to this type of drinks. They also saw that 45,000 deaths from cardiovascular disease can be attributed or linked to the use of these types of drinks. And populations such as us, because we have this Mexican and Hispanic heritage, we are more predisposed of developing cardiovascular disease when we start using these types of drinks. So, so once again, pretty alarming, the numbers. But not everything has to be bad. We have to talk about how can we change this. So first of all, one important thing will be that we have to make sure that we stop drinking this type of like sugar things, such as Coca-Cola or any type of soda, juices that comes in a box. Those are pretty bad. It's better when you do them. If you want to drink lemonade, go ahead and squeeze those lemons and add the sugar. At least you know how much sugar you're putting on that. The other things, you never know how much is really in there. And without even talk about how many chemicals are in those type of drinks. The other important thing is that if we make a diet that is healthy, how a healthy diet looks like. So if your plate has a lot of colors, but like natural colors, that's a healthy food. The other important aspect of it will be to add a little bit of exercise. It doesn't mean that you have to go crazy and go to the gym or join the gym. It's just a 30-minute walk. If you do it 5 times a week, you will be adding 150 minutes of exercise already. So that is pretty good. So another important aspect is that different foods increases your sugar in different ways. So for those of you who have diabetes, you know that certain foods such as rice, when you start eating rice, in just 15 minutes, you can see your blood sugar rising. But there are certain foods that are very good. They have sugar on it, such as the sugar that comes in fruits. You can eat them, but it's all about also the portion side. Because if you're going to eat a whole watermelon, for sure your sugar is going to be very, very high after an hour. But thank you. But it's all about the portions. So for all of you, so this was just to give you a talk and see what was the evidence there that we have about how much food interfere in our health. So we know that high-fat food is linked to having cardiovascular risk. So having a heart attack, having a stroke, having also peripheral vascular disease, which is another important comorbidity that comes when you have body mass index that is more than 30 when you don't exercise. So the most important thing that we have to remember is that we have to make sure that we watch what we eat, that we take time to cook. Like before, my grandmother used to do, she would go to the mercado and buy things, and every day we have fresh things in our meals. So the same thing for everyone. That should be something that we have to include in our, the things that we do every day. So another important thing that I want you to learn today is that for patients that have diabetes, it's very important that they start learning how much carbs are in each of their food. And for that, we have many information in the American Diabetes Association. If you ever wonder how much food is in the rice that you eat or in the potatoes that you cook, you can go there and that can give you an example. And another important thing is about corn and flavored tortillas. A lot of people ask me that, which one is better? So both have a lot of sugar. But the secret is how much of it are you eating? So the thing with flavored tortillas is that they have food that is more processed. And core tortillas, they still have some fiber on it, so they tend to have a little bit less of sugar, but they still have a lot of sugar if you eat too many of them. And then when I was looking and getting some information for this talk, corn tortillas, they tend to be smaller. So that's another thing that will favor a little bit more the core tortillas, but the most important thing is just to take into consideration how much are we eating of that. And I also like to take this opportunity to give you some time for answering some of your questions. I know if you have diabetes, if you want to know a little bit more, I will be more happy to answer those questions today. Okay. Low-carb diet, so that's the way to go. Low-carb diets are very important because if you do a low-carb diet, you will see that you're going to lose weight. Your body will get detoxicated, let's put it that way. And that's really the only way that we know that we can lose weight. So low-carb diets, but not artificial low-carb diets. That's when I want to make that point, and I want to emphasize on that. If you start eating that is processed and you see low-carb or diet food, those are not important, and those are even dangerous, and let me tell you why. Because when you see food that they take the fat out, what they do is they put more sugar on it so the food can taste. So most of the food, it tastes good because it has fat on it. But if you take all the food away from that, you have to add something because otherwise the food will not taste good and nobody's going to eat it. So they just put more sugar on that. So those fat things, zero fat products, we should be away from those. But low fat those are the way to go because they still have a little bit of the fat, but in a lot less proportion. Okay, so one thing that I noticed is that, so what happened with the diet sodas? So what happened is that they take the sugar, they don't add sugar, what they add is aspartame. That is a thing that tricks your mind that is sugar. And then what we see with those type of drink is that at the end, your body really doesn't know what you're putting on it. And then the response that your body puts with that type of food or that type of diet, it makes you feel more hungry. And at the end, you're just going to eat more. So those artificial things, like we should be take a weight of that. It's better if you just add sugar, but you know how much sugar you're putting there. Yes, so the study that was recently published was with the those types of sweeteners. Yes, the stroke and yeah, definitely. So like I always say, it's better if you put sugar, but at least you know how much sugar you're putting. Maybe it's 1 spoon, a little bit. And if you want to like take an idea, like 1 can of Coke, 1 can, 14 teaspoons of sugar. 14. So I always tell my patients, okay, you know what? Let's do the exercise. Let's start putting 14 teaspoons of sugar and put it in a plate. So that's when you're having just 1 little can. If you, those big drinks that when we go to Whataburger or something like that, 56. 56. So, and then the thing with sugar is that it's so addictive. So we know that in our brain, the same area that lights up when people do cocaine is the same area that lights up when we eat something that is very sugary. So that's why it's so addictive. And when we feel bad, when we feel sad, what do? We do comfort food, right? Because it makes you feel good. So that's why we have so much addiction to food. Because for some people, really, that's the only time of the day that they feel good, that they feel loved, that they feel well. So that's why we have to take that away and make sure that our kids and the young population there, they start getting satisfaction for other things, just not from food. So, okay, Splenda is also an artificial sweetener, and but it looks like it's not as bad as aspartame. But at the end of the day, it's better if we use like real sugar, but in a small portion, that we start using those artificial ones. Any other question? Low carb, okay, so low carb and low sugar is pretty much the same, because what carbs at the end, like sugar at the end, gets transformed into carbs, and that's the one that makes your sugar go up. But they're pretty much the same. But just remember, if you want to go to a diet, don't use those things that says no fat. Those are very, very bad. Just try to use like low fat, which are a little bit better, or fat that like natural fat, but in small portions. Stevia, okay, stevia is good because stevia is a natural thing. And if you see it, it's a plant. Stevia is just like a little plant, and that sugar is better. The thing with stevia is that, like, if you want to make a dessert, you cannot use that type of sugar because it gets crystallized at high temperatures. What doesn't happen with the Splenda. With the Splenda, you can do desserts because it's an artificial thing. But the stevia is very good. I know it's it is more expensive than natural sugar. That's it. Okay, I want to thank you for your assistance, for taking the time to hear me. I'm here with Jocelyn Diabetes Center. If you ever had any questions or you're maybe afraid, you have a lot of family history of diabetes, for your teenagers, If you're afraid that they may get diabetes, we're more than happy to help and to see any of you over there. Thank you very much.
Once again, please help us in thanking Dr. Melanie Castillo, the Doctors Hospital of Renaissance. She works with the Jocelyn Diabetes Center. So we have a little less than 90 minutes left. We encourage you to just take your time and enjoy the healthy food that's here. On behalf of the Monitor, Doctors Hospital at Renaissance Health System, and AIM Media Texas, thank you so much for coming to Por Vida Food and Health Festival. We hope you've enjoyed all the festivities and that you're ready to take the next step toward fulfilling a healthier lifestyle. We sincerely thank our many sponsors, especially Doctors Hospital at Renaissance, Neighbors Emergency Center, LAX, Complete Nutrition, Fit-Filet, and South Texas College, and all the fine vendors for their support. Safe travels. We'll see you next year. And please enjoy a very relaxed rest of the afternoon here, finishing up these food samples. Thank you again.